Talking pet buttons are all the rage right now. They've exploded in popularity in the last several years. And they certainly make for some cute social media posts. The challenge is that I see many people getting stuck at the first step. They get their talking pet button and they can't get their cat to press the first button. This makes sense because talking pet buttons are actually quite hard to press. I'm Julie the cat teacher, an applied animal behaviorist, and in this cat training tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to get your cat to press their first talking pet button. Before we get started, you might be wondering if cats are really communicating with their humans when using these buttons. When your cat presses the button and looks at you and expects a consequence, the answer is yes, they are communicating with you. But whether they're using language is more unclear. For the purpose of this video, we're going to keep it very simple. All we're doing is teaching your cat pressing a button equals a treat. This is no different than teaching your cat to press a bell to get a treat. The language doesn't matter. For this video, we are going to be working with a Fluent Pet button. The reason I selected these buttons is I like that you could just get a starter kit, a 2-pack, and I also like that they're small enough for a cat's paw. Even though we are using the Fluent Pet buttons, it's good to know that Jones and me are not Fluent Pet trainers. We're not affiliates or anything like that. We are just doing this because it's a fun clicker training assignment. Plus, we get to help other people and prevent frustration with the button training. Some button trainers say that you shouldn't teach the first button to be a treat button, or you shouldn't even have a treat button. And I think that that is one of the reasons why many people haven't had success. When you get started in any training, the goal is to make it as easy as possible. And what makes it easier than working with food rewards and a clicker? Nothing. So if you want to prevent frustration for your cat and get them started on the right paw, I highly recommend using a treat button like we are using. Good. Treat. Yes. Teaching your cat to press a button is not an easy clicker training assignment. Make sure you've completed some easier assignments before starting this tutorial. In this first prerequisite, we are playing a game I call Ping Pong Kitty. I toss a treat away, I wait for the cat to come back to me, give him a treat, and toss another one away. This is a great way to see if the cat is a willing training partner. If after getting the treat, he doesn't come back, that's going to tell me I need to have better rewards. In this step, we are introducing a prop, and the cat is guided onto putting 2 paws on the prop. The end goal is that the cat understands to put 2 paws on the prop on their own. So while you can start with a food lure, as I'm doing here, notice how now Jones sees the prop and automatically goes on it. That is the goal of this prerequisite. For button training, the cat is going to need to notice the button on their own, not be looking at you or your hands. So this is a good prerequisite to start understanding how to get your cat to notice their environment and respond to the target. Now I am combining the Ping Pong Kitty exercise with the platform or 2 paws on training. He sees the prop and I click and reward him for putting his paws on it. Good. Notice that my hands are still for this exercise. He's seeking out the prop on his own, and then I reward him. If you want to work with wet food, here is an example of how I do that. I put a little bit of wet food on a silicone can lid, and then I reward the cat with wet food on a spoon. If you don't want to use treats, you can use your cat's wet food for training. The goal of this step is to start making the platform smaller. The platform is going to end up being quite small, the button, so we want to do that gradually. One of the props I like to use for this training was the stacking cups, because Each one is just a tiny bit smaller than the previous one, so he barely noticed as the cups were getting smaller. The cup and the button are now approximately the same size, so now I've made sure that he feels comfortable putting his paw on that size prop. As the cups get smaller, your cat might not be able to fit both paws on, and that's great. You can actually start just reinforcing one paw. Notice how I always feed Jones up high for this training. This is such an important step in this training plan because this is what teaches your cat to put enough pressure on the platform. This action is going to translate into putting enough pressure to activate the button.
Yay! Good job.
To make it easy for Jones, I put the button on top of the cup. He was so used to putting his paw on the cups, I figured this would be a good way to introduce the button. Now it's time to get rid of the cups and lower the button. You can see I've experimented with keeping it high with various other platforms, so it's not completely low, but that we're gradually lowering it.
Yes. All right, you did well.
The Fluent Pet button comes with a yellow base. I noticed when using the base that sometimes it was hard for Jones to see the button. Experiment with different bases to make sure that the button is standing out in the environment and easy for your cat to see. If your cat doesn't see the button, you may want to look at other options for larger buttons.
That was easy.
Delayed reaction. Notice how my hand becomes a signal to encourage Jones to move forward. This is how I was able to communicate to him that putting your paw on the button isn't enough. You have to move forward a little bit to activate the button. If you're having trouble making progress, you can always get help in our online supportive learning environment. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you lots of button training success.